One morning, Duck and Oliver were in their sheds, waiting to receive their job orders for the day. Top Hat drove up, for he wanted to give the engines their jobs himself that day. "Good morning," said Topham Hatt. "I have two quite similar jobs assigned for the both of you today. You two are both to go to Knapford Yards and pick up 2 trains there. Oliver, you are to take a train of recycling to the recycling center. And Duck, you are to take a train of scrap to the Willsworth scrapyard. And since you are 2 similar engines, picking up similar trains, there is some possibilities for confusion. So when you get there, make sure everything is in order." "Yes, sir," said Duck. "Will do, sir," said Oliver. So Topham Hatt then drove away, and the engine prepared to leave. Duck started to pull out of the shed, but then stopped. "Oliver," he said, "aren't you coming?" "I am," said Oliver. "I'm just a bit short on steam this morning, but I'll catch up." "All right then," said Duck as he chuffed away. At the yards, there was a new yard manager, and this was his first day on the job, so he wasn't completely familiar with all the engines. So he didn't completely understand what Sir Topham Hatt had told him, but he knew the 2 engines were coming to take 2 trains, but he only thought one of them was a green Great Western engine. So when Duck pulled up, he thought it was Oliver. And since Duck was the only one there, he nor his crew thought there was much chance of any confusion. "But," called the manager, "bring the first train around, will you?" "That's Dart," said Dart. Dart then coupled Duck up to the wrong train. And since Duck and his crew were so oblivious to this, they pulled away to the wrong location. A bit later, Oliver came into the yard. "Hello," said Oliver. "I know I'm a bit late, but I'm here to pick up a train of recycling." The yard manager was confused, but then he realized his mistake. "Oh no," he said. "I gave the other engine the recycling cars. I didn't know that there was 2 Great Western engines. He's probably bound for the scrapyard right now." Then Oliver's driver got an idea. "Well, why don't we take the scrap cars," he said, "and we catch up to Duck, explain to him what happened, then we can go to the scrapyard, and then Duck can go to the recycling yard." "Well, all right," said the yard manager, "but you better move along quickly now." Soon, Oliver was coupled to the train, and he pulled out of the yards. He sped down the countryside and searched for Duck, although he could not see him anywhere. So when he went up over a tunnel, you could see Duck running under him. "There he is," said Oliver's driver. "Come on, Oliver, we can still catch up to him." Oliver's driver then signaled to the signalman to change points. Oliver was now back on ground level. You could see Duck off in the distance. You could also see a set of points in the distance where his line connected to Duck's line, and if he was fast enough, he could beat Duck to it and stop him. So he picked up speed. The driver signaled to the signalman, and he came to a stop on Duck's line just in time. Duck applied his brakes, and was luckily able to stop in time. "Oliver," said Duck, "what are you doing?" Oliver then explained what happened. "Oh," said Duck, "I didn't even think to check my train. I thought that since there was only one of us, there would be no confusion. But I think we should know better any time there's a new yard manager. Or they just need to pay more attention to Sir Topham Hatt's orders," chuckled Oliver. So Duck then took his train to the recycling center, and Oliver brought his train to the scrap yards. Now that evening, Duck and Oliver were back in their sheds, discussing the day's past events. "You know," said Duck, "I think we should tell all the other engines about that new yard manager. We certainly would not want them to have an escapade like we had today." "You're right," said Oliver. "I sure hope he hasn't given any other engines any trouble today. Or any other engines given him any trouble." "So, well, and Ben?"
"Oh, we're going to have a good time with him,"